this is the last class of this academic year. So what I want to do today is to review the overall topic of junior cycle. So what I will be doing is I'll be going through all the topics. Probably I should be able to finish everything. I want you to take a notebook and pen, and whenever I'm discussing a topic, if you feel that, okay, I'm not comfortable with this topic, I don't know this topic, I want you to write it down. Okay. And you should spend time in the coming 3 weeks to revise that topic. Just quickly do over some problems, maybe as small as maybe 2 or 3 problems. If you do it, you will be able to get a hang of the topic. Okay. So now is the best time to catch up on what all you don't know, and you can come to me anytime just asking for help, like what need to be, what I need to study, or is there any topic or something like that. You can do, come back to me. I will try to help as much as possible. But today, as and when I discuss, you please write down if you don't know. That's the only thing which you have to do today. And please listen carefully. Okay. Please leave off every distraction from your mind and listen very, very, very carefully um, the topics which we are going to discuss in the coming 1 hour. Okay. So let's start with the number system. Some of the things will be very familiar to you, but take this as a very good revision time where you are recollecting from your brain what all the things are. So you know different number system, which is like n, then z and r. N is the natural numbers, which is from 1, 2, 3, etc. Z is integers, which is positive and negative numbers, and r is real numbers, which is contain all the decimals, fractions, and all these numbers. Okay, it's very important. Whenever you get a question, you will be given something like x is an element of n. So in this case, if they are given something like this, you maybe it is a solving a linear equation. You solve the linear equation and you are getting you are getting x is equal to -5. Immediately you can know that this is wrong. Okay, because x is an element of n. N means it will only come from 1, 2, etc. Okay, so that's the advantage of having these numbers. So remember, these are the 3 number types. Okay, then you have something called significant figures. So significant figures means significant figures. Give me 1 second. Okay, significant figures means whenever you have something like 23500, and I need to put it as a significant figure with one place, then you need to consider only 2 as the place. And how will you convert it? You see the next number, which is the next number, which is 3. 3 is less than 5. So which means you have to round it up to, it's not rounding actually, it is like mapping it into a significant figure. So that will be 2000. And suppose if it is 26500 and to one place 6 is more than 1, so then it will be 3000. I mean 30,000. Okay, so this is how we map it onto significant figures. Next, you have a scientific notation. Scientific notation, we know it. So 36542 can be written as 3.6 times. So you will have only one decimal place here, and 3.6 times 10 to the power of 4. Okay, now here you can say that this 4 is the order of magnitude. So this is called order of magnitude. Okay, so those who have arrived late to the class, I just wanted to tell you that we will not be doing any problems today, but you just keep a notebook so that you can write down whichever topic you don't know, so that you can practice it in the coming um, 3 weeks. Okay, so this is scientific notation, significant figures, and then remember BIMDAS. Always remember BIMDAS, because this is where many people make the mistakes. So here it is like bracket of indices, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. If I say simply like 2 times 5 plus 3 to the power of 4, which one will I do first? Bracket. So I will do this first. Then I will do the indices. Then I will do the multiplication, which is there. Okay, so you have to remember that. And if I have something like 3 plus 2, I will do this at the last, okay, because my addition comes at the last. So you will do this at the last. So remember, always, even in normal calculation or also in algebraic calculation, you have to remember that the rule is BIMDAS. Okay, very much, very important. Okay, and then we know the DST, distance, speed, and time. So you know the triangle. So speed is equal to no, it's not like this. It is speed is equal to distance over time. Yeah, so remember this speed distance calculation. It will be useful many times, and I've mentioned it multiple times, but I'm just again saying it is millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. If you don't know the conversion, just draw this picture anytime and then you will be able to do it. Conversion is very important in junior cycle. So millimeter to centimeter, it will be divide by 10, divide by 10. This will be divided by 100 and this will be divided by 1000. So this will be multiplying by 1000. This will be multiplying by 100, multiplying by 10. Okay, so remember this picture and you will be able to derive the information out of that. So distance, speed, time, it's very important, and the speed will always be mentioned as meter per second or kilometer per hour. So if they have given the time in hour, and if they have given it, they have given the time in hour, like 5 hours and 600 meters, you need to convert it so that either this or this. So conversion is up to you, whichever you want to convert. Unless they have specified in the question, it is you are free to do the conversion. Okay, so that concludes the number system. Now we are moving into algebra. I know you all are very comfortable with algebra, so I'm just going to go a bit faster here, but in case if you don't know anything, just write it down quickly, okay, so that you can learn it afterwards. So simply we'll start with 3x plus 5x. We know that it is 8x. It's a very simple one. And then when it comes to multiplying two terms, a plus b into um, a plus b, or maybe no, I'll just go with x plus y into 2x plus 3. Whenever you have this, my God, I'm bad in making x plus 2 into 2x plus 3. We know how to multiply. So x into 2x plus 3 plus 2 into 2x plus 3, and then simplify it. Okay, now another why I explained this is, if you have x plus y the whole square, immediately you have to remember you need to put it into 2 times x plus y times x plus y, and then simplify it further. Okay, always whenever you have square, you just put this and simplify it further. So we know the algebraic, we have done a lot of questions, so don't worry about algebra, you are comfortable. But during whenever you are doing it, please be conscious, because if you are doing x plus y, or maybe x minus y, and no, I don't want y, x minus 2 and x plus 5. Okay, if you are going to simplify this, a very common mistake everyone will make, everyone whoever is doing, they'll make this mistake. So be conscious, that's the only thing what we need to do. So the answer for this will be x into x plus 5. Then you need to take this minus 2. Okay, so put this minus 2 here and then write x plus 5. And then when you're simplifying, the first simplification is simple. Okay, x square plus 5x. The first simplification is simple. But when you're doing the next simplification, you have to work with minus 2. So minus 2 times x and minus 2 times 5. This is where everyone will make mistake. How much ever smart you are, how much ever good marks you have gotten in mocks, you have to be conscious that this is the case, because I have seen many studious students also making mistakes on this. Okay, so we have to be very conscious. So it is minus 2x minus 10. Okay, that's the answer, and then you go and simplify it. Now moving on to factorization. What is factorization? Factorization is splitting it up. Okay, so if you have 5x plus 10, you can split it up as 5 times x plus 2. Very simple. And there is a factorization called factorization by grouping. They will not ask you this question. Okay, they will not tell that, okay, by factorization by grouping do this. No, they might give you something like 5x plus 2y plus 10x plus 15y. So if they give something like this, you have to think, okay, how will I group it? How will I make it as two things, and then I simplify it? Okay, so remember, whenever you have questions like this, it will be mostly grouping. And then you have trinomials. So Again, I'm saying if you don't know any topic, just write it down. As and when I write, you just write it down so that you should be able to learn it better. Quadratic trinomials. Tri means 3. So x square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. This is called a trinomial. So trinomial, how do we simplify? There are two methods. The simplest method is you take the factors of 6, okay, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and find which factors will add up to 5. So it is like 2 and 3, and then you write it like x plus 2, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, this is the factorization. If this, and if you have something like 2x square plus 3x plus 5 is equal to 0, then what you will do? If there is a term in front of, if there is a coefficient in front of x, you multiply these two. 2 into 5, 10, and then find out the factors and then write the one. Okay, you can even use box method for this. Some of you have learned the box method, so please go with whatever method you have learned. Okay, nothing to worry on this. And if that is also not working, directly go with minus b formula. Okay, minus b formula is there in the formula book, so just go with the minus b formula and you will be able to do it. Okay, now there is a special case of factorizing, which is like x square minus y square. So whenever you see two squares like this with a minus in between, okay, always remember that is x plus y, x minus y. Okay, that's what you have to remember. Oh, sorry. What is this called? Difference of perfect squares. Always remember. Okay, and if you have 4x square minus 9y square, you remember 4 and 9 can be written as 4 can be written as 2x square minus 3y square, and that will be 2x minus 3y, 2x plus 3y. Okay, also sometimes they can give you like 4x square or maybe 16x square minus 36, no, like, okay, I'm not able to remember any number, but the idea is you might have to take off some number outside and then you will get a perfect square like this. Okay, so there can be questions like that also. Now moving on to algebraic fractions. Whenever you see fraction, remember cross multiplication. So if you have x by 5 plus x by 3, always remember cross multiplication, and this one and this one, and then it will be 3x plus 5x divided by, you multiply these two. So that's equal to 15. Okay, that's the case here. Now this is a normal simple factorization, fractions. If you have x by 2 plus x by 3 is equal to 5. How will you simplify this? Again, you simplify this here on the left hand side with cross multiplication. So 3x plus 2x over 6 is equal to 5. That is 5x over 6, which is equal to 5. Now again, there is a fraction. Again, cross multiply. So just put a 1 here, cross multiply. Okay, then it is 5x is equal to 30, and then we need to eliminate 5, so divide by 5, divide by 5, and x is equal to 6. Okay, simple methods of fractions. And x plus 2 over 2 times x plus 3 over 4. Fraction multiplication. How will you do this? Fraction multiplication. It's same as algebra. Like if you have 3 over 5 plus 4 over 10, how will you multiply the fraction? You multiply the numerator, multiply the denominator. Okay, so it is 12 over 50. So same process applies to this algebraic fractions also. So you multiply x plus 2 times x plus 3 over 8. Okay, fraction multiplying is the same as that of algebraic fraction multiplying is the same as that of the normal multiplication. And how will you divide fraction? 3 over 5 divided by 4 over 10. That is reciprocal. So 3 over 5 times 10 over 4, and then simplify it. So you reverse the second fraction. This was 4 over 10. It became 10 over 4. Okay, the same process applies for algebraic fractions also. Now we are moving on to linear equations. we all know how to solve a linear equation. 5x plus 3 is equal to 10. 5x is equal to, you bring this side, 10 minus 3. So 5x is equal to 7. Divide by 5, x is equal to 7/5. Okay. Remember, you can get decimal numbers, you can get fractions, all that is possible in your junior cert. Okay. You cannot expect that it will be almost be a common number. Okay. So this is linear equation. So you know how to solve linear equation, but in inequalities, so 3x plus 5 is equal to 11. Okay. Less than or equal to 11. So you solve this linear inequalities, you solve it as same like that of equality. So it is less than or equal to, you bring the 11 this side. So it is 11 minus 5. So 3x is less than 6. X is less than or equal to 2. Okay. And usually in inequalities, they will give you a number like x is an element of n. So if x is an element of n, how will you graph it? So element of n means it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And it is less than or equal to n. So how will you draw it? So you just put a dot here, you put a dot here. If it is n, you will just draw this. Please remember, whenever you are drawing, if you are working with green ink, maybe you put a dot it with red ink so that it is very much easily visible for the examiner. So remember, whenever there is an n, you just put a dot. Okay. But when x is an element of r, okay, x is an element of r, x is less than or equal to 3. Okay, yeah, x is less than or equal to 3. So there you can go with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. less than or equal to 3. So which means that at the 3 you will put a darkened dot like this. This should be like this, okay? And then you draw a line. So when it is an R, you draw a line. When it is an N, you put dots, okay? And there is another case here. If it is x is less than 3, okay? 2, 3, 4, 5. X is less than 3. So remember the case, this is less than or equal to, the first one is less than or equal to, this is less than 3. Then what you do? You put an open circle here and then you draw a line till here. Okay, these are the two variations of that. Please remember this. Okay, R and N. And then comes the simultaneous equations. Okay, hope you know the simultaneous equation. So x plus 2y equal to 5, x minus 3y is equal to 10. Okay, so if you have two equations, you need to eliminate one variable and then do the solving. I'm not going in detail, but I will just tell you one or two tips which is required. So in this case, you can maybe multiply by -1 and this will become minus x plus 3y and minus 10, and then you can add and then you can complete it. Okay, sometimes the equations will come like this: x is equal to 2y plus 10, y minus 5 is equal to x. Okay, if they give you questions like this, then we have to rearrange it before solving. So how do you rearrange? You always have to have ax plus by is equal to c. This is the format which is required for a simultaneous equation. So how will you do this? You will write the first equation as x minus 2y is equal to 10. And the second equation, you can write this as minus x plus y is equal to 5. Okay, don't worry, you are just rearranging it to one side and to the other, and then that's it. Okay, and then you can solve it as a normal method. Okay, and if they give you fractions x by 2 plus y by 3 is equal to 10, then you have to first simplify this and then simplify how? Using cross multiplication, and then only you will solve it. Okay, then you have quadratic equations. Oh, we explain this. Okay, quadratic equation, you can either factorize it and solve it. Like if they're asking us to solve it, you will write that x plus 2 and x plus 3 is equal to 0. And then you will write x plus 2 is equal to 0, write x plus 3 is equal to 0. You write this equal to 0 or this equal to 0. And then x is equal to -2, x is equal to -3. Okay, so these two things are called factors, and this are called roots. Okay, roots of the equation. Okay. Now let me tell you one more thing out here for this quadratic equation. Whenever you are drawing a graph of a quadratic equation, I hope everyone know how to draw a graph of the quadratic equation. If you don't know, please write it down, graph of a quadratic equation, and message me. I will explain how to draw a graph. So when you are drawing a graph, whenever you have this, okay, not here because it is -2, -3. So whenever you draw a graph, you know that for a quadratic equation, the graph will be U-shaped. Yeah, U-shaped. And these roots will be the points where it is touching the x-axis. So it is sorry, if this is -1, -2, -3. This is how the graph will look like. Okay. So the roots, these roots will be the point where it is touching the x-axis. So please remember that. Okay. Quadratic equation. Then moving on to indices, we all know that indices, everything is there in the formula book. So as and when you get a question on indices, go to the formula book, open it, and then start working on this. Okay, if you don't know, please come back to me. You can message me. I will give you information on how to do it, and you will be able to proceed further with that. Okay, then we're moving on to applied max. So we learned about percentage profit. What's the formula for percentage profit? I don't remember. Suddenly went from my mind. Okay, whatever. Okay, so I don't remember. I will tell you later. Okay, again, VAT. So whenever you have a VAT, before VAT, after VAT, I've explained this shortcut. So before VAT and after VAT. So if you have 13% of VAT, what you do is you put 13 over 100, which is equal to 0.13. Then add 1 to that, which is equal to 1.13. So from before, if they have given the before VAT, to get into after VAT, you multiply it by 1.13. And if you have after VAT to come into before VAT, you divide by 1.13. Okay, simple method. If you know some other method, if you're comfortable with that method, please go with that. Don't worry about this method. Okay, then comes the income tax calculation. We have taken this a lot many times in the class. So remember, if you have a gross salary of maybe 30,000, you split this up. So if you are able to remember this picture, whichever income tax question comes in, you will be able to answer. Okay, why? Because even if it is backward calculation, even if it is forward calculation, nothing to worry. So if the cutoff is like 10,000 for 20%, and then the rest is 40%. So what I will do is like I'll write it for 10,000 here, and then I will write it for 20,000 here, and this will be done as 20%, and this will be done as 40%. So you will calculate this value here, then you will calculate the value 1 here, 2 here, and then add, it will be 1 plus 2 here. Fine. And that is nothing but gross tax. Gross tax. And then we will subtract the tax credit. Okay, and we will get net tax. Okay, so why I am saying about this picture is, if you are able to remember this picture, you need not draw this method or anything like that. But if you're able to remember this, sometimes they will give you a net tax and they will ask you to calculate some other value. So then if they are giving the net tax, then you know that, okay, it should be added to the tax credit to get the gross tax. Yeah, and then you can work backwards in a very easy manner. Okay, if you don't know, please write it down, send me a message. I will give you videos on this. I have very good videos which is created out of this. Okay, then then you have currency conversion. So 1 euro equal to 1.5 pound, what will be 10 euro? Okay, so the question will be a word problem. So you have to write it like this. You have to write it like this, and then you will be able to understand. So whenever you are writing like this, you see if there is something beneath 1. If it is beneath 1, it is multiplication what you have to do. Okay, if it is not, you have to do division. That's the key rule for this. Okay, and then you have compound interest. You have the formula. So F is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power of T. T is the number of years, or n, or whatever it is. This is there in the formula book, so don't worry. No need to memorize it. Go to the formula book. P is the principal amount, which is the initial amount which we are putting. I is the interest. So just need to understand these things, and then you can do the calculation as an from the formula book, substitute it. Even if you don't know anything, write down this formula, try some sort of substitution, you will get marks. Okay, that is the way the system is designed for junior cert. Write down the formula. Just by writing down the formula, we will not get mark. But if you write down the formula, do a bit of substitution, a little bit of substitution, 1 or 2 numbers of substitution, you will get marks. So that is how we accumulate marks for the full exam. Okay, now we know about the sets. Sorry, once again. Okay, sets. Remember, all the all the symbols are there in the formula book. Okay, intersection, union, and all these things, it is there in the formula book. I don't remember the page number, but it is there in the formula book. So in case if you are not able to recollect during the class, you please remember. So it is intersection, union. This is difference. So A difference B, which means in A, not in B. Okay, then you have A complement. You remember that not in A, everything except A or something like that. Then cardinality of A, number of elements of the A. So these are the basic things. Okay, now remember, you will get word problems for set, which is for 3 sets. Okay, 3 sets. Now always remember, you have to start from the beginning. I mean this inside one. Okay, you have to start from this inside one as the first one. You read all the word problem, see if there are some values for this common place, then write it down. That is where you have to start with. Then you write all these things. Okay, then you write all of these. Okay. And then you go with the universal set also. So you might have to write something. So this is where you will write as the 4th level. Okay, if you follow this, you will never make mistake. Okay, if you're not comfortable or not confident in solving word problems of 3 sets, please go ahead and do it, because I feel there can be a sure question out of this. Okay, so please do this, and don't worry if they give you algebra also. Just write algebraic terms. Like sometimes you might have to write x over there, and then it'll be x minus 2x or 30 minus 2x or something like that. There are questions in study clicks for this. Please do this and work on these problems. It'll be worth putting some effort for this. Okay, and then you have functions. The next topic is functions. So remember, how do you identify a function? So if you have 4 numbers here, for it to be a function, there should be an arrow going from all the 4 elements here, this one. Okay, and there should be only one arrow going from that. Okay, this is called domain, and this is called range. Okay, now, so what are the condition once again? So there should be an arrow going from all of the domain, and also there should be only one arrow which is going to all of the range. Okay, now the function, always we denote it like this: fx is equal to x square plus 5. X is an element of R or something like that. Whenever you get a function, don't worry too much, because it is a function. Think of this as y is equal to x square plus 5. It's the same thing. Okay, so whenever they give you a function and they ask you to find the coordinate or the numbers or something like that, think of this and you just write it on the side of your answer paper. Y is equal to x square plus x. Why? Because this is easier for us to understand. We have been working on algebra, so we know. Okay, we have been working on algebra from first year, so this is something which we understand. Whenever you see f of x, it becomes a little confusing. Okay, so then we will not be able to think deeper onto this question. So when you write it for y, then it is easy. Sometimes they give the question as f x x square plus x square plus 5. Okay, they will give this notation also, but don't worry. Okay, sometimes they can put this as g x square plus 5. All these are the same. Okay, don't worry at all. Okay, and if you need to draw a graph of the function, they will ask you to draw a graph of the function. It's very easy. You have only this one. So I've taught you how to use the function in the calculator. You remember, where you can give this formula and then find the values of x and y. by steps and all these things. Okay, if you don't remember, come back to me, just message me, I will send you that. Otherwise, the normal method which you can use is you put x and y here. So x is equal to 1, find the value of y, x is equal to 2, find the value of y, and continue doing it. Okay, and then you draw the graph. And always remember, linear equation, you will have a straight line. Quadratic, you will have a u or a this, and this is where a is positive. A means ax square plus bx. A is positive and this a is negative. And then there's an exponential. Usually they don't ask exponential for junior cert, but it is good to understand, good to know. It's like an exponential curve. Okay, that's done. And then moving on to the different topic of sequences and series. Okay, so usually they give you a picture and they will ask you to draw the next next in sequence. So maybe they will give you something like this is some picture which we have already done in our class. So whenever you're doing something like this, you just number these pictures 1, 2, 3, and then write whatever values you have. Okay, this will help you identify the type of pattern what you have. Okay, and then there's one important question here, which is like a quadratic series. They will give you some information and then they will ask you to develop the quadratic series. Okay, quadratic nth term of the quadratic equation or a quadratic equation. They will ask you to develop a quadratic equation. So what you do is quadratic means second difference is same. So the quadratic series always will have the format of ax square plus bx plus c, and you find the second difference. Okay, and that is d. Then you can always write a is equal to d over 2. A is the second difference by 2. Okay, so a equal to second difference by 2. So immediately you are getting the value of a. Then you sub in the values over here. You will get two simultaneous equations. You will get two simultaneous equations and then you can solve for b and c. Okay, and then you can form the quadratic equation. If you don't know, please write it down. Okay, then moving on to probability. Okay, in probability, the first thing what you have to learn is the principle of counting. So they will say that, okay, you have 3 main course and sorry, 3 starters, 5 main course and 6 dessert. How many combinations you can use? So just multiply all of these together, you will get the combination. Okay, so that's the principle of counting. So these kind of things they can ask in multiple ways. So remember, if there are multiple things which you need to combine, just multiply everything together. That's it. Okay, then you know how to write the outcomes. Okay, you have two-way tables. You remember the two-way table, how to write the outcomes. So it's like heads and tails. And this is 1, 2, 3. Maybe there is a this one. So you know how to write it. H1, H2, H3, T1, T2, T3. This is two-way tables. Okay. And then you know how to draw the tree diagram. Okay, that comes with a probability. And then comes a concept of probability, and you know it's certainly like unlikely event and all these things. Always remember the probability will be between 0 and 1. Whenever you are calculating a probability, it will be between 0 and 1. Okay, how will you find the probability? Like heads and tails, we know it's a very simple this one. So 1 over 2. Okay, the probability of getting a head is 1 over 2. Similarly, you have any other concept, you will just see how many times it is favorable events divided by the total number of events, total number of outcomes. That's a simple format of probability, and it is always written as probability of an event. Okay, favorable number of favorable events by total number of outcomes. Okay, and then you have the probability tree diagram. So like for example, if I'm tossing a coin 2 times, so then what I will do is like first I will get head and I will get a tail. So this is the first toss. And then for the second toss, I will get a head and I will get a tail. And then I will get a head and I will get a tail. Okay. So this is the second toss. And if I have a third toss, I will draw one more layer of that. Okay. And now what is this combination? This is this branch. So I will have to write HH. and the second one will be HT. Okay, and this one will be TH, and this one will be TT. Okay, this is how we find the branches. Now, suppose if the tree diagram what they have given is maybe this is some event. Okay, I'm not naming it now. So there's some event which is happening, and they're saying that the probability is 0.3. Okay, then how will I find the probability of this side? That is, the total probability is always 1. So this is 1 minus 0.3. So this will be 0.7. Okay, is that clear? Again, the same thing will work here. It is 0.3 and 0.7. It is 0.3, 0.7, depending on the event. Okay. There was one question on snow or no snow or something like that. Okay, whatever it is. Then whichever event it is, the method is the same. Okay, the total probability will be 1. Always it will be 1. So if they have given one probability, you just subtract it with from 1 and then write down the value. And here the probability, the total probability of this event and this event happening is 0.3 times 0.3. Okay, it is multiplication here, remember? And this is 0.3 times 0.7. This is 0.7 times 0.3. So it will be this branch. Okay, and this is like 0.7 times 0.7. Okay, remember here it is multiplication. Okay, that is the tree diagram thing. And probability will always come with sets also, like this one. Like if you have two sets and this will be probability of A, they will say that this is probability of A and this is probability of B, and this is 3, 5, and 7, universal set. They will ask you what is the probability of event A and B happening, A and B. So that is nothing but the intersection, which is equal to 5. A or B happening will be, A or B will be this total. Okay, so that is how we work with the probability. Then moving on to the next topic, which is statistics. Okay, it's 5:40. I should be able to complete it. Statistics. I hope everyone knows the calculation of mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, very basic thing. Normal calculation, mean, median, mode, and range, we should be able to. But what will you do if you have interval values or frequency? Like if you have X and there's a frequency, like one event is happening for 10 times, two event is happening for 3 times or 30 times, third event is happening for 15 times, fourth event is happening for 12 times, etc. How will you find the mean? First you multiply these two. Okay, 1 into 10 plus 2 into 30 plus 3 into 15 plus 4 into 12. Okay, divided by total frequency. This is what you need. Okay, you add everything together and then you find the total frequency, which is like 10 plus 30 plus 15 plus 12. Remember this. This is how you find the mean value. Now, if you have something like interval values, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 5, 10, and 15. If it is like this, how will you calculate the mean? You find the mid-interval value, mid-interval. So mid-interval of this one, so which is 10 plus 20 divided by 2. That's the formula. Okay, 10 plus 20 divided by 2. So take two numbers, add it together and divide by 2. Same for this 20 plus 30. So 20 plus 30 divided by 2. So you extend this one and then find the mid-interval values and then you multiply this and this. Okay, so you don't multiply, you don't take X into consideration there. You find the mid-interval value and then multiply and then use the same method to find the mean values. Okay. So if you want to revise, just write down mid-interval values there. Then you know how to represent data in a statistical. So you have line chart, you have histograms, you have pie chart. Okay, pie chart is important. So how do you draw the pie chart? You take 360 as a base and then you find the value. So if you don't know, please learn it off, just write it down. Okay, now moving on to geometry. So these are the main things which you need to have a knowledge about before the exams. Okay, now geometry, all the parallel line constructs. corresponding angles, alternate angles, um, interior angles, corresponding angles, alternate angles, interior angles, yes, vertically opposite angles, all that things you have to understand and remember. Okay. Then remember triangle 180-degree, quadrilateral 360-degree, straight line 180-degree, the full angle 360-degree. Okay. That all things you have to remember. Then there is a concept of similar triangles, which is confusing for people. So if you have triangle ABC here, then you have another triangle DEF here. If I say that ABC, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF, similar means they look alike. Okay, that's what we say. So in that case, what you can do is you can write, okay, let me just take in a different color. So listen carefully. So ABC is similar to triangle DEF. You can write AB over the same two letters of that other one. So which is DE is equal to, take off the next two letters, which is BC and EF. BC over EF, which is equal to, take the next two letters. What is the next two letters? AC. A and C. So D and F. So it is AC over DF. Okay, this is how you write the similarity. There will be questions on this. So they will give you two triangles and they will say that, okay, in the question itself, they'll say that, okay, these are similar. Find a different side. So they might have given 5 and 3 and this is 10 and find this angle. So you write this ratio, fill in the values and then cross multiply and something like that. And then you find the values. Okay, so that is how we work with similarities. And remember, you will get questions like this also, like they will give you a triangle like this. They'll give another triangle like this. They will give you A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and then you will have to find the similarity because there can be two triangles here. See, this is one triangle here, and the second one is this triangle. Okay, so these two triangles are similar, and then depending on that, you can find out any values or things like that. And there are multiple types of similarities. Side, 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 side angle, side, then angle, side angle, then RHS. Okay. RHS means right angle triangle. So it works only for right angle triangle. So one side should be right angle and the other is a hypotenuse and then there is a side which works on this. Okay. So this is the similarity thing. Now, moving on to, okay, yeah, in geometry, you have to learn constructions. So if you haven't revised construction, I know all of you have learned construction. I think some schools they taught in first year or second year or things like that, but you have to revise it. Otherwise, you will not get it. So, at times, you will get one question out of constructions. Okay, so please revise this. If you don't have the link, let me know. I will send you the message. I have a link where they have mentioned all the construction. Just go through that, or else take your textbook, go through the construction because that you are familiar with. So take it off, learn it off, and revise it. Okay, constructions. Now moving on to coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry, we all know everything is there in the formula book. Remember, everything is there in the formula book. So only things which we have to remember is parallel lines, the slope is the same, perpendicular lines. The slope, if this is 5 over 3, this will be minus 3 over 5. You reverse it. Or the rule is m1 times m2 is equal to minus 1. Sometimes you will have to use this. So please remember this. M1 is the slope of this one, m2 is the slope of this one. You have to you have to use this formula and find it out. Okay, m1 times m2 equal to minus 1. And remember, how will you do the word problems? Like suppose if there is this one and they say that, okay, this is line L1 and this is line L2 and the slope of line is 5 over 4. You have to find the equation of L2 with 3,2. It is passing through a point 3,2. You find the slope of L2, which is like minus 5 over minus 4 over 5, which is the slope, and then it passes through the point this one. Okay, so then you use the formula y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. Okay, and also remember whenever you work with lines, if it is crossing the y-axis, then this is c, and then you use the formula y is equal to mx plus c. Otherwise, you need to use the other formula. Okay, so this is the coordinate geometry concept. And then, okay, last but one topic, trigonometry. favorite topic of many people. So trigonometry, there are only two things which you need to learn here. One is the Pythagoras theorem. So this is C, this is A and B. Remember, C square is equal to A square plus B square. C is the longest side, which is just opposite to the right angle triangle. And to find any other side, you subtract C square minus A square. Please remember this. Okay. Then the second thing what you have to learn is sine, cos, and tan. SOHCAHTOA. Everyone knows this. SOHCAHTOA. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, C is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is equal to opposite over adjacent side. Okay, these two things. So whenever they give you a triangle question or the right, whenever you get a triangle question, you see whether there is right angle triangle or not. If it is right angle triangle, you see whether they have given the sides. Maybe they would have given 5, 4, and something like this. Okay, if they have given the side, go with Pythagoras theorem. If they have given some angles, okay, like they have given, okay, this is 30 degree, then you go and work with sine, cos, and tan. Okay, and we all know, like if it is sine 30, we just need to put it into the calculator and find the values. But if we don't know the angle, sine A is equal to 1.35 or something, then to find the angle, what you do? You do sine inverse 1.35. Okay, both can be done in the calculator. You can find the values in the calculator and then work with those. Okay, now there are applications. We know this. If this is the ground and this is the angle of elevation. Okay, and if you are standing here and if you are looking down, this is the angle of what is the name? Forgot again. Angle of depression. Okay, so whenever there is an angle of depression, that is where we get confused. Like suppose if this is 15 and they're saying that, okay, there is a cliff here and there's angle of depression is 20 degree. Okay, so when you draw a line, this is 20 degree, nothing else. Okay, this is 20 degree. Then what you have to understand is, and they might ask you to find some other value. So you have to remember that this and this are parallel lines. And you can work with, suppose if this is meeting a point and they're asking you to find this angle or something like that. So remember these two are parallel lines, and 20 and this are alternate angles. So this will also be 20 degree. Okay, so you have to apply the the parallel lines rules over here and then find the values. Okay, now comes area volume. Remember, everything is there in the formula book. All the area volume formulas are there in the formula book. So most of the time what we get confused, basic, it's not the basic things. The difficult one, which is like this is cylinder H and this is the radius. So the area will be equal to pi r square H. Okay. So remember, this is r and H. And pi r square H. And then you have the sphere. Sphere area is 4 pi r square. And volume is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. Oh, this is not area, this is volume. Okay, volume is equal to 4 pi r square H. Area is different. So this is sphere. I don't think you have it for hemisphere. So if you have a hemisphere and this is the radius, area is equal to the previous one divided by 2. Okay, so just previous one divided by 2. So which will be equal to 2 pi r square, and this one will be 2 by 3 pi r cube. That's it. Okay, that's a main thing. Now there can be question like they can say that, okay, there is a candle, there's a cylindrical candle, and they are melting it and they are making it as a sphere or something like this. Okay, so melting, when even they are melting, the volume remains the same. So that is the concept here. So you'll find the volume of the cylinder first, and then that volume should be applied to the sphere, and mostly it will be like to find the radius of the sphere. So you substitute the volume and then find the sphere. So for example, volume is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, and they are saying that volume is equal to 100, then 100 equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, and then simplify it. So basic thing is like this will be put as 1. So 3 times 100 is equal to 4 pi r cube. you all know this, just so that I just want to show one simple thing here. Then I can write this as r cube equal to 3 times 100 divided by 4 pi. Then you find this in the calculator, and this is r cube. Suppose if this is 12.532, okay? How will you find r? It is cube root of 12.532, okay? Cube root, that is what I wanted to show you. So put that in the calculator with the cube root, and then you can find the value, okay? Now the final thing, which is the flow rate. Okay, sometimes they will ask you the flow rate, rate of flow, or a flow rate or rate of flow. That is nothing but area times speed. Okay, so this is the formula. So they will ask you the flow rate of a tube like this. So you find the area. How will you find the area? You need to find the area of only this piece. Okay, and that is, it's like a circle, so that is pi r square. So you find the area of this one, and then multiply it with speed. You will find the flow rate. Okay, so depends on what thing it is. Usually it will be a circle. Whenever they give question, this will be a circle. Okay, so I think I'm happy that I'm able to complete it. So that's it for the whole type of, whole junior cert topics compressed into 1 hour. Guys, please remember one thing. You all know much more than what you realize. Okay, I have told you this before, but I'm just again and again telling you, we have been learning this for a very long time. Okay,